Time to go racing at GRIDLIFE Summer Apex. GRIDLIFE Rush Series, race number 3. Green flag, and we're underway at Road America.
It's a great start from the inside row. It's going to be basically clear for Blair Hosie. Nico Bratz has a way bigger challenge as he's trying to get up into the third position. Look, 3-4 wide. That's what we expected. A little bit of jockeying in the back. It runs out of room. They're down into turn 1.
Oh, that's really tight squeeze there. John Robinson just left just enough space there for Czargonorski in the 25. And the 48 of Schwartz, I think, was the car on the inside there. But they all make it through turn 1 here, Tom. Now to 3. Hosie, Bratz, Merceberger, Czargonorski battling for the top 5 spots.
Merceberger is through on Bratz, and now it's trying to, I think it's Robinson actually, the orange machine, up into 4th position, challenging on the back of Nico Bratz, who's on the back foot under this green flag first lap condition, coming down to turn 5, clearing 130 miles an hour in these little sports racers. Ooh. Lots of jockeying. Hosie trying to break the draft now into the braking zone. Look at Robinson, the orange machine is on a charge.
Yeah, big lunge on the brakes here, big slip from behind in the 12 car, I believe that was. Maybe it was the 111 of Spezia. Oh, but spin right in front of the field here. Everybody's going to scatter. Look out, nowhere to go. 2 cars, 3 cars, 4 cars, scattering, bodywork. Everybody dodging and weaving. Honestly, it could have been a lot worse than that, Tom.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. 2 cars getting locked together. We talked about in that little opening with TJ Hunt how strong the front of these cars could be, but I think that locked together is going to be an issue. We're going to stay under green flag at least until later in this lap. Sector 2 under yellow alone, and now we got races up. I agree, that was Spezia looking for positions on Jason Ayler, I believe.
Andy Volkel, big left front lockup on the run down to turn 8. He's charging up the field. Again, he's battling Ryan Leach in the championship fight. They both had poor weekends. This is a great opportunity to make up points on his rival. Up to the kink for the first time. Blair Hosie trying to keep distance on Bratz, Merceberger, and others. And there's 2 cars I don't think are going to move. And look at all the debris down there at 5 Tom.
Yeah, lots of fiberglass. But Nico Bratz, he doesn't have to stop passing yet, and he's recovered from that weak start. He just got caught sleeping just a little bit on the outside row. Still challenging for position just outside the top 10. We're going to go 3 wide into Canada corner for the first time, but the top 10 all pretty much equaled out. We're going to see where a couple of our backpack contenders that we have to drive through the field end up as we come towards a now full course yellow as we anticipated.
Yeah, and again, that's because those 2 cars stopped at turn 5 are right on the racing line. And again, nowhere for them to go, nowhere for them to get off track. So as they come up over the crest here, though, I'm curious to see how things pan out in the weekend standings, because we noted that Blair Hosie was already leading them, but with some big changes here. Here's a look as this is how they started, but as they come across the line, there's going to be a lot of changes in this. So let's see how things pan out. Merceberger, let's see here. It's going to be a pretty big shift. Well, maybe not as big as we thought. Merceberger up to 2nd place on the weekend there, Tom, as a couple of cars come across the line. And again, Ryan Leach hasn't really been in the conversation because of the issues he had yesterday. So Robinson P5, that's a good, strong start.
Yeah, I don't see Leach having come past us yet in the timing and scoring tower. He may have been caught up or really delayed because of that mess down in turn 5. James French was able to make up a couple of positions, maybe 10 or so. Yes, he's up to 28th. I think as you come across timing and scoring, he'll be completely happy for a quick yellow to put himself back in the position. And again, Leach has not come through yet.
I saw him down and scored 41st. I'll have to wait for the ticker to come back through again to update us, because he was supposed to have started 30th. But I thought I saw him maybe launch forward. And on this last page, he's going to be 40th or worse. 42nd, Tom, didn't complete the first lap. So our championship leader is off track somewhere. You're looking back on YouTube, Tom, to see if you could find it. But that was big trouble for a handful of cars. So under the control of the safety car now here in race number 3 as we come down towards turn 5. And let's have a look here at the turn 5 incident here. We're under full course yellow, a couple of cars stacked up. And here's how it happened, Tom, as we take another look.
Yeah, so nearly 4 wide in the very background. The black and white split car is Ryan Leach going for the move up 4 wide. He's going to come across a car spun here. That's a self-spin, another self-spin that has dodged it. Ryan Leach there makes contact, left front to right front. And I have to suspect something broken on that car. He drives away out of camera shot. and a couple other cars. Jeremy Boysen there in avoidance also goes around. The main reason for the yellow are those two cars locked together in the middle of the shot there, but it was a pretty good clunk on the left front of Ryan Leach's car to that one car stopped. We didn't catch the number on the second car, but yeah, the contender is the contender for the points championship is just having a worse and worse weekend.
Yeah, again, some days it just feels like it's always raining, and sometimes you're the bat, sometimes you're the ball, and looks like a whole bunch of people struck out down there at turn 5. And this will be a bit of a mess. There's a lot of pieces of looked like wood that were maybe from the underbody rub blocks and things that are kind of splintered over there at the apex of turn 5. And we're going to get those cars picked up. And easy to pull these cars off there at turn 5 because it's there's an escape road right there. But we did see a couple cars, including Ryan Leach, make it a little further along the racetrack. So hopefully not scattered too far around this 4-mile facility. It looked like, you know, a lot of cars involved, Tom, but relatively minor collisions, which, again, hoping everyone's all right, but didn't look like anything super big, just damaged the suspension enough where those cars didn't roll. So unfortunate end to their days. And maybe some of those cars, again, we've seen so many Rush SRs get damaged and then be in the next race like nothing ever happened. They're very easy to work on. The whole clamshell comes off with a couple of clips. So, you know, there might be a lot of cars that look like they're damaged, but they're relatively easy to get sorted and put back together.
Yeah, piecing this thing together, the initial spin was Ethan Hardesty in the number 115, went around, and in dodging so, the number 39 of Michael Neff ended up losing it as well. That's the car that Ryan Leach had contact with. We saw Jeremy Boysen go around, and I still have yet to collect the number on the other car locked together there.
Is it Saldana in the 30, perhaps? He's the other car at the bottom of the order on the timing and scoring.
Yeah, it must be.
So, again, hoping to get a restart relatively soon with the cars getting picked up. James French, one of the drivers that had issues late yesterday and scored his first win in his GRIDLIFE Rush Series career, and currently scored in 28th spot, so has a lot of upward climb still to do. TJ Hunt up to 13th place. He started a little deeper than that, and he's right around Ayrton Grimm, who's gone back a couple positions from the start in the rush of the Carolinas pink machine. They're 13th and 14th on the road, right behind Nate Hamilton and Matt Wilson in the 188.
Just cleared halfway on this 15-minute race, 7 minutes down, 7 minutes to go. These are nearly 4 or 5 minute pace laps, so we're expecting at least one more. The Road America safety team is very, very good at overlapping incident cleanup with restarts if it can happen. So we'll remain optimistic for at least maybe one green flag lap towards the end of this race, which I know drivers like James French and Andy Vogel would be super, super happy about, as they made very little progress through the scrum of that first race start. And you know, this is something that can happen. We've seen it actually in GLTC a number of times where weekends that have a race like that race 2 we saw yesterday, there's a lot of chaos. It puts a lot of faster drivers towards the back. It's out of line for the pace of the cars, and it's not one specific thing. It's just a trend of when you have cars trying to push their way through. You saw all that jockeying, even on the front straight. It just creates a different energy, a more chaotic energy that leads to incidents sometimes. And it reminds me of working at an indoor go-kart track I worked at. We were only allowed 10 carts because when we put an 11th out, we had an incident. And it wasn't because all 11 carts were in the same spot. It wasn't all 11 crashed, but the trend was that one extra cart led to a higher potential for those accidents. There's a look at the number 30, as you speculated, that got locked together with, I believe, the number 39. But again, it's just one of those things when you have drivers coming through the field. They've also been cold for a day. Obviously, they had the little warm-up, but just one of those things that can happen.
Yeah, that 30 car really well tore up on all the corners, unfortunately. To your point also, you know, we've also seen this in IBOC GLTC. We've had 58 car grids before in that series, and once you get much beyond 30, you start to lose a lot of green flag racing, not necessarily because of incidents either, just because of mechanical issues. The more cars you add, the more of a chance you have. They had home-built, homebrew cars. You see a lot of mechanical issues in those big 60-car fields. So, you know, at places like Lime Rock Park and Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course last year, we trialed an AB format that was really successful. But again, it's always a challenge to get 45 cars green to checker without any incidents. But we should get a restart this time, just judging by the cleanups that we had working. We saw cars on the hooks getting dragged away like an angry cat getting scruffed going to the vet. And he'll go back to, it always makes me think of the scene in Cars from that opening crash. Don't take me out, coach, I can still race. Getting dragged off course.
Good reference.
Pixar, man. Gotta love it. But Blair Hosie leads the way and leads the weekend points as well. Merceberger in conversation there. Nico Bratz. John Robinson having a really nice round as well in that orange car. P4 in line. Elespezia, his first event with us in P5. He actually comes from a rally background as well. But here's another look at the weekend points as they run. And Hosie has a pretty good advantage. They're still working on a car over there. Some oil dry, Tom. You're shaking your head looking like we might have to do another lap.
Yeah, there's 3 cars still stuck there, I think. There's one obscured behind the workers, one behind the truck on the left, and then one up in the grass. I believe that might be one too many for the number of hooks they have. Maybe 2 too many. So the field going around, and yeah, I was just going to call out some of the big movers who made the most of that start. I'm really impressed with John Robinson. Found his way up to 4th from 6th on the grid. Also, Elespezia really aggressive in the 111, but made it work up from 8th to 5th. Czarnogorski started 4th and dropped to 6th, so that's a little bit of a shuffle for the driver with the big green wing there coming through the center of frame. And then just behind, I think that's Schwartz and Ehler. Ehler with the blue fenders on the side.
Yeah, we're getting a real slow pace lap, giving the team as much time as possible. The fewer pace laps you run, the better chance you get of catching a green at the right time. But you're right, to your point. They're all near the cutoffs, so the cutouts where you can get them. Again, you need enough trucks. While the track is under yellow, we've got Blair Hosie leading the race, and Cerise caught up with Blair earlier today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Blair. Blair, you are one of the founders of Rush. You have also won race 2. Yep. Now, in that race, you were holding off one of your competitors. It was holding position in 3rd. Talk to me about what happened out there on track.
Yeah, it was gnarly. Like, me and Ryan Leach, who's championship leader, kind of before knew we were going to try to work together, try to get to the front. James French is super fast this weekend. It's his home track. So tried working together, and then it was one of the craziest rush races we've ever had, bumping and banging for like 10 laps straight.
Talk to me about what happened when he blew a tire. What was your experience on that?
Yeah, so came into turn 8 and saw 3 cars go flying in way too hot. I was like, I'm just going to sit back and watch this. And then coming through the kink, started seeing smoke, and I was right behind Ryan. So coming in the kink, I was fully blind at that point. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Ryan's always at the front, but James, Ryan, and Andy are all at the back. So they'll be, by race 4, they'll be back towards me. So
now, Blair, when you first started Rush here at GRIDLIFE, you used to take a back seat. You were like, I really want my drivers to have this experience. I want them to get that feeling of winning. Now you're out here. What switched?
Frankly, you know, everybody loves competition, right? And a lot of the teams that ran last year always were saying, you know, they want me to race, right? So partner with the Rapscallion Sunoco team for this year, and it's been awesome. It's been really cool because we're pretty much running a bone stock car, right? We're not doing all the finicky stuff just to find time. We're showing people that this series is all about driver and that you can get in a car straight out the factory and be right at the front. So it's been really cool for me to go have fun with these boys and actually take the checkered flag now. So.
Well, I'm very happy to see you out there applying the pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in for the next Rush race here at GRIDLIFE, Road America.
Thanks to Reese and Blair Hosie leading the race right now. Still under safety car here for the GRIDLIFE Rush Series race number 3. And it looks like there's only one more car to go pick up over there at the turn 5 area here. And again, I think we've got still a little time on the board. So I would anticipate, Tom, you know, you had speculated maybe one more green flag lap. I think you're spot on with that. I don't see a white waving, but we've had actually both Rush races so far, we have not gotten a white flag. We just got the checker. So we'll see how things look next time we go down through turn 5. But so far, Blair Hosie looking pretty good there. Actually, Merceberger pulled up alongside Hosie and actually beat him to the start-finish line. They swapped spots on the ticker there, but again, Hosie still leading the race.
Yeah, Summer Apex here is crammed full. 4 different categories of grip driving plus drift. Sharing the schedule, a couple of other sponsored sessions coming in and out as well. So the schedule is a little bit fluid, and that's what leads to maybe no white flag. But we're going to, again, remain optimistic. Now, Blair Hosie, they're making an interesting point I really hadn't thought about. First, I was like, what's he talking about? He said, we're proving that you can take a car car out of the factory and run it. We're not doing all this other little stuff and playing with it. And at first you're like, well, it's a spec series. What are you talking about? But thinking about it a little bit more, the manufacturer proving that you can take a car from basically the showroom line and run it well with a little bit of knowledge of the car, instead of, you know, it's inevitable that the bench racing leads to people speculating that you're trying this, you're doing that. Apparently the theme of this broadcast is my kart track experience, but people would think that we had special treatment for special tires or this or that. And if you put an employee that knows the kart, knows the track into that kart that they're complaining about, they do a fast time. It's you. Come on, right. It's you. So that's kind of the point he's driving home is we're running one of the cars that we aren't doing anything special to it. None of the stuff that you think you might have heard that we need to do, you don't have to do that. And we're running at the front alongside some of the other championship contenders. So a very interesting point that he brought out that I'm actually glad he said that.
Yeah, that is a good point. To your point, to his point. So a lot of points being made. As we were behind the safety car still, hoping that we can get back green this time. We get the Road America safety team scruffing two of those angry kitties off the racetrack at turn 5. We've got one more left to grab, and then we should get at least a lap, hoping for that next time around. 45 car field, we're down a couple from the start, including Ryan Leach. We didn't exactly, well, we saw that he was damaged, but not by how much. Boysen off track as well. The car that really wants to make up some big ground here is James French. And also the 33 of Ethan Alexander would like to make up a bunch of ground because he's another championship contender here this year. So when you look across the season at events where you really can make good points, you have to circle this one as your biggest opportunity. You need to capitalize on Ryan Leach not running well. Same for Andy Vogel. Comes in with 226 points behind Ryan Leach's 300, so a 74-point difference. That's a lot, but you can make up a big chunk of those here this weekend with how things have gone.
Absolutely. You get 1-0 in the table sheet, and it's a really big pain, but 2 zeros is basically you're done, especially with this many cars. There's this many people who are capable of finishing up in the points. 25 for a win, 21 for second, 18 for third, and then 16 on down until you get to 0. Pace cars' lights are out, and they've definitely picked up the pace. They're going to try to get us a race lap here, folks.
Yeah, again, and we're going to come across here down into Canada corner and kick things off with a restart. And watching especially Bratz and Charganorski. Bratz is up in 3rd place. He's sitting on the podium right now. Has a chance for a trophy. Robinson and Charganorski fighting for 4th in the weekend title fight. They've got one more race this afternoon after lunch to sort that out. It'll be track battle podium sprint after this. But the GRIDLIFE Rush Series heads up the hill through Billy Mitchell Bend. Blair Hosie leading Mersberger, Bratz, Robinson, Spezia, Charganorski, Schwartz, Ayler, Batley, and Billingsley. Your top 10 here, Tom. Restart goals, just try to get on it and get a good draft.
You need to be in that exact sweet spot with the momentum of the car in front of you. You got to be matching it. Maybe a little bit of left foot braking while dragging the throttle, so you just pull off the left foot and you're going, but you can't be too far back. You want to sniff that draft, and these cars can bump draft as well, just ever so slightly. Look out for that too.
Yeah, the pace car is going to make the right onto pit lane. Blair Hosie has to wait a long time to get to the acceleration zone. Once again, green flag, it means go in GRIDLIFE. Can't just decide when to go. You have to maintain pace car speed up until you get that flag waving. Way off in the distance there, you see it, white and green together. 4 miles left in GRIDLIFE Rush Series Race 3. 1 to go on the restart.
No one caught sleeping yet. Looks like it's maybe Jason Ayler, the first car under a bunch of attack there in this 8th position or so. Then we're streaming 2, 3, and nearly 4 wide down into turn number 1, heavy on the brakes. Hosie's completely clear. Robinson feeling defensive for 4th. Spiza looks to the outside. He's going to try to go for the over-under. Big sling to the outside. That's just what these cars look like when they're going fast.
Andy Vogel in the middle of the pack there, slicing and dicing. I saw Nate Hamilton on the attack inside 3 wide into turn 1. He sorted it, but it's a top 3 breakaway. Then another 3 cars from 4th through 6th. And then a couple little micro packs already forming here on the run to turn 5. Big draft down the back straightaway here. Speeds over 130 miles an hour, then heavy on the brakes into that 5th corner.
Front splitter slamming down onto the ground when they hit the brakes here, but Hosie still weaving, trying to break away from Mersberger. Mersberger's going to look to the inside, mostly for a sight line, not to attack. A little bit of dust flying in the background. I think we're all clear. And a big lunge up the inside from Schwartz, clearing through on Spiza. It's going to let Robinson get through as well. They're jockeying for 5th.
Yeah, Andy Vogel running real wide there through turn 5 to carry as much speed as possible. But an over-under from John Robinson in the orange Rush SR, and it's going to get real tight here into turn 7, a little side-by-side. That's tough math to do even in these cars, but they sort it now. And James French right behind Andy Vogel. Remember, they're second and third of the championship fight, separated by about 100 points. So, but again, with how chaotic this weekend has been, we're going to probably see that fight tighten up a lot.
I think the top three are pretty much in lockstep, but that fourth position was really heavy under attack. It was actually Charnogorski that got through on Spiza, and then it was Ehler getting back through on Schwartz. So very much a lot of jockeying there in the bottom half of the top five, and every single one of those positions is a point that gets you a better position for the grid in the next race. You absolutely need everything you can get coming through the kink for the final time. Breakaway at the front for Blair Hosie.
Oh, the bodywork coming off one of the cars there. It just ripped itself off. I think it's TJ Hunt's car, maybe Nate Hamilton's, but that's going to confuse everybody with dirt and debris, and everyone's going to scatter because they can't see what's up the road. But it was just the engine cover that tore off that car, and everybody just trying to get through there without running into anybody else. Coming up through turn 13, and Billy Mitchell-Benn for the final time. And side by side here, it was TJ Hunt's car. He's still running without it as they make their way to the final corner. Still trying to make a pass here without any rear body work. Up the hill over the crest, Blair Hosie. It was a fourth in race one, a win in race two. It will be a win in race three for the Rush Auto Works driver. Checkered flag for Hosie. Mersberger in second place, then Bratz. And then next across the stripe will be Billingsley in the 9 from 10th to 5th on the restart.
Oh, it was Billingsley. Wow, I misidentified that, but
Charganorski, sorry, then Billingsley in 5th.
yeah, okay, there we go. Ethan Alexander also coming out of nowhere, it looks like, in the number 33. That was a really big charge for that chrome blue car, coming up into 6th position. Ehler, Batley, French. James French all the way up from 38th to 9th. In what we had basically 2 green laps of racing. That was a really impressive charge to put himself back in the points and back in the conversation for the grid for the next race. Vogel also doing a great job. Taking a little peek back at the replay of what happened there, it looks like they didn't maybe have the bodywork latched down, or maybe it got dislodged somewhere along the race for we said Nate Hamilton, right? Or was it TJ Hunt?
It was TJ
Hunt. The car just basically blew the bodywork off of it from the right side. And again, yeah, like as you mentioned, spooked everybody else because they don't know that there's no car attached to that bodywork.
Right, and that was actually good heads up, because you can't assume when you see an engine cover and a cloud of dust, you cannot assume that there isn't a car on the other side of that. You don't want to go in there full throttle. So great heads up driving by everybody. It was definitely a spooky moment. You see TJ pulling in now. I'm really impressed he was able to even control that car without the rear wing through the last couple of corners. It can be probably pretty tough, especially turn 14 where you're carrying good speed. Let's have a look here at the highlights, or sorry, the results rather, of GRIDLIFE Rush Series race number 3. Blair Hosie gets it done over Mersberger, Bratz, Charnogorski, and Nick Billingsley. A nice solid charge there late in the going.
Ethan Alexander up to 6th. Jason Ehler, Jalen Batley, a number of drivers just coming through the field a couple times this weekend. James French, another one. Andy Vogel, another one, before we get outside the top 10 from race number 3.
And Matt Wilson, TJ Hunt. TJ grabbing a 12th with that bodywork coming off. Ayrton Grimm, Ellis Spezia, Gage Hughes, Hassan Ahmed, Kevin Kirkwood, Darius Garcia 19th there, Kelsey Billingsley in 20th place. Then looking down the order again, Jake Sanders up a couple positions from where we've seen him. Sam Reed, Larry Brady, Bill Dorrance, Tom Kirsting, the top 30. And the rest of the order, it looks like Nate Hamilton dropped down 33rd in the 144. A couple cars with some mechanicals or issues there in the late going, including Ethan Hardesty, Tom. And then, of course, the last page showing us some of the cars involved in collisions today.
Good look at John Howe underneath the graphic there in that completely chrome chameleon-wrapped car. He finished in about 35th position, but one of the coolest looking graphics on any of the vehicles here this weekend. And, man, Rush continues to deliver. As long as we don't get these cautions, man, they are going to be some of these rowdiest races that we've ever seen. But just with so many cars piling down into turn 5, it's not a surprise that even just one person having a simple mistake on their own can lead to a little bit more chaos. The Road America safety team gets even more body parts from a Rush. They're going to be able to build their own
probably
after all this body, or at least the shell of one, let's say, after they collect all this body work.
All right, let's have a look at the highlights here from GRIDLIFE Rush Series Race 3, and it was another drama-filled event with a pretty impressive start with 2 and 3 wide off into the corner. On the green flag, 3 wide into turn 1. Big moment there with John Robinson just leaving enough space for his competitor alongside, and down into 5 on the opening lap here, Tom. Big send from a couple of drivers, but this is where things started to get messy.
Yeah, if you keep an eye out for one car spinning, then the gray car going to go around the outside trying to save it. Our championship leader, James French, actually getting a big shove, barely makes it through. Then the big hit for Ryan Leach as well. That really could have been a much worse, but so many cars getting bumps and scrapes through there. Spiza was on the big charge down the inside at both turns 5 and 8 before the full course came out.
Yeah, then we picked up a couple of cars under the full course yellow. We heard about Blair Hosie setting the tempo for the rest of the race on the restart, running from Bryce Mersberger here, trying to drive away from the rest of the field. And down into turn 5, big wiggle there and some big sends in the background. John Robinson over-undering a couple of cars here, stomping his foot to the floor, carving up and under. A couple cars tracking wide. Andy Vogel in the pink car moving forward, up into the top 10 late in the going. Then TJ Hunt's bodywork ripped itself and disintegrated on the backstretch, sending everybody scattering here, thinking there could have been a car. TJ managed to finish the race without that rear bodywork, and across the line it was Blair Hosie picking up his second race win of the weekend. Grid Life Rush Series Race 3 complete from Road America.